Cancer, as the moon wraps up her time in Pisces, she wants to know what doubts do you need to release that are keeping you from embodying your dreams and keeping and trusting in divine timing and that you are divinely protected. Stick around to find out how you can work with these energies. But before we get into that, for those of you who are returning, welcome back, Soul Tribe. I appreciate your subscriptions, your likes, and shares. Your support really is just mystical, Cancer, and it keeps us growing. And for those of you who are new, welcome to the Chariot and Friends. Justin here, and I'm happy Higher Self has brought you here. We're in for an amazing journey. And the purpose of this channel, for those of you who have Cancer in your placement, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Jupiter, wherever, Cancer, this one's for you. And I do tarot cards based on our ruler here, the good old moon. I don't know where my hand's going, but this is Rhonda. That's who I was trying to point to. And I'll talk about what sign she's in, what phase she's in, and when she's going to avoid, of course, is all those lunar shenanigans and, apparently Justin shenanigans. And just so you're all aware, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one. So take what resonates with you, leave the rest with me. Never force reading on a situation, and everything will be dope, Cancer. Now, let's jump into it. All right, Cancer, your space has been cleansed. Crystals, feeling lovely. There's great energy all around here, Cancer. All right, girl, you kind of crowded me. Hold on, there we go. And Cancer, don't mind us. Happy Venus Day. Venus is associated with Fridays, and I feel with Venus being in Taurus, this is a time to really kind of treat yourself, Cancer, because you are worth it. Venus being in Taurus is about knowing what you bring to the table, knowing your value, and that you don't accept anything less there, Cancer. This is a time to build up your self-esteem, and then with that self-esteem, I feel then you can... your relationship, I feel, with your dreams can change as well. Venus can deal with more than just our one-on-one relationships with people. She deals with our relationship to color, to music, to just relationships with things, to source. She's, well, then we're getting into Pisces, we're in kind of Neptune's realm, but she is seeing where there is dissonance. Taurus is about finding that energy of peace. So I feel this Venus day, and while Venus is in Taurus, I mean, just when Venus is in general, but let this be a day where you do kind of treat yourself extra there, Cancer. Do something nice for yourself. Dry yourself up a bubble bath. Maybe soak your feet. Maybe this is go get yourself a massage. Maybe go to a chiropractor and acupuncture, wherever it gets you. Then maybe take yourself out to go to dinner or whatever this is like. But this is also a great day for socializing as well, Cancer, getting out amongst there, going to appreciate. I feel with Venus being in Taurus too, this is, I feel like, really kind of appreciating the beauty of the environment that is around you, because this is the Empress in the garden. This is, I love Venus in Taurus. This is, because when you look around, Cancer, I don't know about where you're at, but things are in Washington, things are starting to bloom. There are flowers all over the place, and it's a sight, and I'm taking in every bit of it. It's been very uplifting, just taking a moment to just kind of pause each day while you're out and about, just kind of taking the surroundings, feel the sun beating down on your skin, hear the bird sounds. Taurus is a very sensual sign. Venus is very sensual energy. This is about being receptive, and you're really just kind of tuning in. I feel like this can be really nice, kind of coupling this energy, because we are still in that waning crescent in Pisces. And, oh, interesting, Cancer. Get to that in a moment. Speaking of Pisces, thank you, higher self. But with this waning crescent in Pisces, as I feel as we get closer to the new moon cycle here that's going to be happening on Tuesday, Cancer, depending on when you're watching this, the 7th. This, I feel, is a time to kind of look inward, to see, to do some... Pisces is a time of meditation, a time of going within, of connecting with that side of you that is connecting, however you connect with Source. Whenever you find that you're needing to call on your faith, when you're needing to when you look, you know what I mean, Cancer. I feel that this is that time to connect how, and not just necessarily doing this. Meditation doesn't have to just be where you're sitting in on the floor uncomfortable. This could be maybe you're making a cup of tea, you're just kind of sitting and just reflecting on the day. You could be staring up at the clouds. You could be listening to music is a great one for this, listening to maybe some classical, some jazz music, just some instrumental music, something. And that's something I feel like too. Be mindful of when we're in the moon in Pisces, because you are more receptive to things around you. Pay attention to the messages that are being put into you on a daily basis. I know we have like our jams, and I'm not trying to squash on anyone's songs or anything, but that kind of stuff matters. I remember driving in a Lyft once, and this person put on something that was incredibly violent, and it was just like, I was like, man, this is it got me thinking about a lot of kind of deeper type of things. But it is very fascinating to see how sometimes like that can be a reflection of what is going on internally. So, and Pisces is that energy of awareness, of it's disconnecting from the mind. It's the Pisces is the mind observing the mind, that's going through this experience. It's again, this is outside view of yourself, in seeing how I'm getting this energy. I'm picturing you kind of stepping out, creating that space where you are kind of analyzing the things that come up for you, Cancer. How is your universe looking? How's your galaxy kind of functioning there? Do you feel you're in a flow, or do the fish feel like they're swimming all over the place? Do they feel, or the seas chaotic? Because yeah, I'm getting an image too of just like kind of choppy waters on top, but it's the deep below, somewhere. I'm just picturing somewhere real deep is undisturbed, and that's where I feel like we need to get to that place that's undisturbed, that part of you that's like all knowing here, Cancer. We get into some deep stuff when we're talking about Pisces, but it's really not all that complex. It's really just that I think when you go to put it into words, that's when things get a little fuzzy. But it really is just that energy of when you're kind of just kind of zoned out, just kind of daydreaming, and just kind of allow yourself to it's like feeling where the energies are taking you, seeing where you're at on your path, and what are maybe some things that we need to let go, that we need to reflect on, that we need to maybe even heal from. So that's what I'm getting with this moon in Pisces. So something to really kind of, when we get into the water energies, those are always more kind of introspective, quiet time before. And I always love that you get into this water energy, and then like right after, then when we're in fire energy, then we're alive again. But it makes sense, because we have the water energy is that time to go within and just kind of do that inner work, to kind of see how the internal is working. Pisces sort of removes the objective, and all that's left is the awareness, the dream of it all. And getting in that space, that does unlock a lot of imagination. It gets into this great intuitive energy, and it's like you can take this time to be a great time for rest and inspiration, so that when we get to the fire energies, we're ready to express this stuff. We're ready to take what we've learned and what we've integrated and put it into something new. So if you want to see how this energy is translating in your chart, how it's working with you more personally, book a reading with me there, Cancer. I have information down in the description box below, and also on my Instagram page on my bio. But this is, I feel, a very vital thing, especially for Cancerian, wherever you happen. If you have Cancer in your personal planet, your Sun, Moon, Rising, Mercury, Venus, Mars, I feel it's very important to kind of see where that moon energy is, because where your emotions at play a very big factor into that. And so for example, where my stuff's at, I have the moon is going through my eighth house right now. And so this is getting where thinking about some changes, how the energies are integrating. It's reflecting on some subconscious things that are kind of coming up. What are some ways that I can let go, because now we're getting ready to integrate some new stuff there, because the moon will go from my eighth to my ninth house, and then that's when we're getting ready to expand, where I want to learn something new, where I'm getting ready to incorporate something and grow in some sort of way, that wanderlust kind of kicks in. But at first it's, I'm going through that psychological time in the eighth house, when we're getting into the realms of the occult and looking at how shared energies and finances, that's actually been a big thing that's been kind of coming up here recently. And just it's very fascinating how you can just kind of track these emotions and get and it's even better when you have it on your lunar return, and to see how the flavor for the emotional landscape for the month is looking, and then even more when you're getting with your solar return. So if these are some things that resonate with your Cancer, you want to sync up with your cycle a bit more, because like where my lunar return's at, she's in, normally I have the moon in the 10th house, and this is where the changes happen. But where the moon's at right now in my lunar return chart, she's in the second house. And so this has been one where I've been reflecting on my values, where I've been getting my money in order, where I've been thinking about what I'm worth, and keeping that type of peace. That's where I've been needing to nurture, and where my moon's been wanting to focus. And then she's going to be moving depending on where I'm at, she's going to be moving back to the eighth house. It's so interesting how the chart's like flip-flopping right now. But again, it gives you something to look forward to. And sometimes it's getting familiar, and this gives you a chance too to get familiar with certain houses, to kind of focus. It can all be a lot, so this gives you little isolated chunks, so you don't have to take it all at once. You can just focus individually and then expand as you get more familiar with this. The purpose is to be able to read your charts with the same kind of fluidity that you would read a newspaper, and be able to know your energies on a deeper level. So I love talking about this stuff at nauseam. We'll go deep there, Cancer. But I think that's all I got for you, Cancer. So let's go ahead and get into your general energy. They appreciate your patience, Cancer. You got the Foggy Bog card here, which is a card of patience, and this the 18th card is Moon card energy. Cancer, I feel that patience, and again, I feel like I just, I was just talking about this. Patience is a virtue. That's the mantra of the year for me. Like that source was speaking loud and clear when that man that interaction, that will forever be, that has like a huge impression. But we're getting ready to get into where we're getting to a lot of Taurus energy as we get through May. And granted, I feel like this is an appropriate time for patience, because I feel like the universe is not saying just to be patient just so that, just to make you wait just for the sake of suffering. Sometimes patience allows us to, okay, well, there's nothing else that I can do. I've done all I can here. And how do I feel? Like I've just did all of this stuff, I'm trying to get these things going. I may be feeling tired, but I feel like patience is not in just enduring, something suffering. It's like what you make of that time. So this could be where this would be perfect for Venus days, maybe like, okay, you know what? Maybe now I don't have to do so much. Maybe I can take a Venus day and go get a manicure or a pedicure. I can go get my hair cut, or I can go grab my favorite treat at the store, or whatever this is looking like. But this patience, I feel this could even do with whatever goals we're having to set. Maybe we're wanting to get to a certain weight. Maybe we're wanting to gain some weight. Maybe we're wanting to lose some weight. Maybe we're wanting to get to where we're running a business. Maybe you're wanting to travel somewhere. Maybe you're wanting to move. Maybe but I feel like all these bigger things, it's just like, it's in while those things are cooking, while higher self is getting they took your order, they're reading over the things that you're doing, and we're getting it logged in. How do you what can you do, I feel, with this moon in Pisces? In what ways? Because I feel the waning crescent is an energy of surrendering, of releasing control to the universe, of knowing that I heard you, I got you, and we're gonna do some great work. And I see you, and just like, don't worry. I feel that when we're talking about the moon card here with this 18th energy, it can be a fear of it can be where we get into like illusory energy, where we may fear that because we're waiting, that patient, we feel like when we have to be patient, that means it's not going to come. But I feel like part of that comes from the fact that we have come to a place where we do get things very fast. We get from, if I want to know, if there's information I want to know, I just got to Google it real quick. If I want to order something, I just ordered some stuff from Amazon today, and I got like, half of it's going to be here today. And it's just like, okay, were you just waiting for me to order? Like I appreciate that, but then there are other things that are taking their sweet time, and I'm like, you know what? It's that anticipation. I'm like, I can't wait or I can wait. I'm excited because I'm thinking about for example, I have some of those. I listened to a podcast here recently about they were talking about Pisces energy, and it happened to get to where Pisces is associated with the feet. And they were talking about these shoes and things like that. And I'm a type, like, if I can improve the quality of this body, bet. And I was looking and doing some research on some like those like barefoot shoes. They have the wider toe box and things along those lines to get you less more. Almost the equivalent of walking barefoot without walking, which I like walking barefoot all the time anyway, but this is a nice little perk as well, so I just have to be patient with that. I'm just being excited in that moment. So, it's like, how can you stay excited as your dream is cooking up, Cancer? I love it. There's lovely Neptune here. Oh, interesting, Cancer. Thank you, yourself. Let's see what's going on here. Alright, so you have Neptune here, the Hanged Man, Pluto, the Eon card, which is the Judgment card. Then you have the Three of Discs, the Seven of Cups, and then the Knight of Wands, and the Knight are the kings in this deck. Now, with the Hanged Man here, I feel an energy that's coming up with this is that what sometimes happens when we're feeling impatient. And I get, we just came out of a lot of we've been going through a lot of Aries energy, and Mars has just freshly entered into Aries, so there's this revitalization of energy. We're going through this new 2-year cycle. Mars is starting his this brand new cycle here, and what I feel sometimes can happen when we don't see things immediately, then when our minds get to wandering, we can maybe spread ourselves too thin, I feel, here with the Seven of Cups. Maybe try to get a whole bunch of things. Okay, well, maybe if I try this, or maybe I should try something else. And, we're could potentially, I feel like, you see how this Seven of Cups is it's really kind of sluggish here, or not kind of, it's sluggish here. The water is not moving as fluidly as it could, and I feel that's because it's taken on too much. It's almost overworked itself a little bit, I feel, with the Three of Discs being here. And I feel that this Eon card, the Judgment card being here, that your transformation is coming. It's just like how a caterpillar is going to take as long as it's going to take to become a butterfly. A seed is going to take as long as it's going to take to become a tree. And you are going to take as long as it's going to take to become your dreams. And you have many dreams, Cancer, I feel, with the Seven of Cups here. And I feel that sometimes that maybe we can operate from this almost like fear, I feel, here with Pluto. being here, the Judgment card, that we have to get all the stuff done because Pluto, he puts our mortality in our face. That this is a finite journey. That with this human experience is a finite journey, and we can get very attached to this journey. This a lot of the stuff. A lot of personal planets are tied to the ego that revolve around the sun, but Pluto reminds us that yes, we may have a finite amount of time. That doesn't mean that I feel like it's to do things out of panic. It's to do things out of passion. That's what Pluto wants for you here. And I feel like that's something we want to be patient with. We want to make sure that the things that we're pursuing, they really light us up. And I feel sometimes with that, what happens with the cult, I feel sometimes, and I won't speak for other cultures, but I feel maybe with American culture, there's always this sense of urgency, always a need to be productive, a need to do more, need to, there's that constant push. And I feel that leads to these sort of knee-jerk reactions, these just sort of settling for things where you may have been sort of happy, but maybe there could have been some other. There's the Seven of Cups is giving me this energy of like, what if I would have gone this way instead, or how would that transformation, if only I had, and then we got to like backtrack here. And when I talk about the Knight of Wands, usually with the Hanged Man, the Knight of Wands, if we're not mindful with our energy, that's the quickest way to end up in a Hanged Man situation. And I feel it's one of those things where it reminds me of when I used to work in food and beverage. There would be those quiet times before the storm, and people would be like, oh, I'm so bored. There's nothing to do. And I was like, well, find something to do. Fill your time with something peaceful, because you're going to miss this. You're complaining about it now, but you bet you're going to be complaining when it's busy. And that's what I feel like is like, appreciate this time now, because things are going to be busy here soon, Cancer. Big Papa's going to be moving into Gemini here in a minute, and actually he's going to be forming he'll be forming a conjunction with my moon placement. I'm actually really excited about that. But it's Big Papa and I got a nice relationship, so things are going to get busier, Cancer. Things are going to start getting, I feel, active, especially with where we're going to have a lot of outer planets moving into more active energies. It'll be a lot of where we've been in a lot of like Taurus and Pisces energy. Now we're going to get to more heat. Absolutely, we're going to be more Aries energy once, more so in 2026 when Neptune and Saturn officially settle there, and then Jupiter and Uranus will be in Gemini. So things are going to start heating up. So this is the time to be patient, see, again, if you're following your passions. Absolutely. Lust card, since that's here. Well, let me get the rest of your cards here, Cancer. Okay. You got yourself. Alright, so we got here, Cancer. Yeah, look at all this heat. So I told you, Cancer, things are heating up. So you got the Lust card, which is Leo. You have the Ace of Wands, my girl, the Princess of Wands, the Five of Wands. You see the Ace of, the Ace of Swords and the Four of Swords here. And I love that. We were literally just saying that there's going to be a lot more air and a lot more fire here. And so I feel, and this is what I've been kind of feeling. This is especially, I feel, and granted, there have been big things that are happening, but I feel like things are really going to start getting kind of busy here soon. And this is the time I feel to again really kind of see, are the things that you're trying to pursue, do they light you up here with the Princess of Swords? The Princess are the pages in this deck. And I bring that up. I feel like that's a really important thing here, just because when you got the Lust card here, when we're talking about Leo energy is one that it is about that sense of who am I? And you can be whomever you want to be. It's a very childlike energy when you're talking about Leo. Yes, they're very creative, but that imagination, that creativity, it comes from that childlike wonder, that optimism that I can do this thing, and that's interesting too, that you got the Four of Swords here, because this can be a card of rest, a card of needing to just kind of take a minute and just like, you got some really great potent seeds that you're working here. You got some great ideas, maybe some great passions that you're working with here. And now the Five of Wands, there's a slowdown here because maybe there's more brainstorming that needs to go into it. Maybe you've been I feel with this, that's interesting. I feel that with this Five of Wands, it almost feels like that this patience, even with this Four of Swords, this it's almost like the energies want to make sure that we are resting up. They're really encouraging this kind of slowdown again, especially since we're going to be in kind of heavy Taurus energy for a little bit, we'll have throughout this month, the sun's already there, Jupiter, Uranus is there, Venus is there, Mercury's going to be entering there soon. So with all those planets that are going to be going there, this is a time for kind of recharging, for really kind of, because it's this Saturn, I was looking at that Saturn in Leo, which is the Five of Wands, and it just feels like Saturn is in this energy, is wanting you to be more, to like, oh, is that really all you want to do? Like, and not in an aggressive way, not like, oh, you can do more, but it's more so like, hey, that side of you that's telling you that you can do more, and to meditate on that, where you may be kind of restricting on yourself. And I feel this too, this patience, being patient with your growth. Again, that could be something that's going on. You're going through a transformation, and appreciate the transformation that you have gone through, the progress that you have. Especially when you find yourself in maybe that frustrated energy. And I know that can be easier said than done. But yeah, just something here. A lot of interesting energy here, Cancer. But even with, I feel, collectively, with Mars having just moved into is now in, where he's dignified at in Aries, it doesn't feel like it's energetic, it's refreshing, but it doesn't feel like it's overstimulating. At least that's what I don't feel like is Mars's intention. And if we're feeling that overstimulation, then we may need to take a beat and kind of rest a little bit, because we may be pushing the wheels a little bit too hard. Maybe kind of it's like, I'm just picturing this like this, when you're going to add air to the fire, really kind of vroom, 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 and you might just be like vroom, 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 and you're just burning all of the fuel out there. And so that's something, the pace at which we're going about this thing, I feel like it's a marathon, not a sprint. But but I do feel too that there are things that are going to be coming to the mix, and so but let's get some advice from Neptune and Big Papa. And Cancer, I was just thinking too, with that Three of Discs, with the Five of Wands, if there's something that you have been kind of patient with, you've been kind of beating your head against the wall, you can't quite figure it out, this could be a time to reach out for some help, get a different perspective, get something where we work better as a team. I find it's just like with recess. I'm just feeling when I was talking about Leo energy. When your mind needed a break, you got outside, you went to go play, you got with your friends, and sometimes you can find your answers in what you're in that play time. So think of yourself. But last little bit here, Cancer. Oh, these people. Ooh, and Scorpio. So you got Scorpio here, the Death card. Ooh, and that's interesting. Scorpio with Pluto here. But you got that Death card, the Queen of Disc, the Princess of Disc, the Prince of Swords, and the Five of Cups here, Cancer. And let's switch back over. Because that's interesting. Whenever I feel that you get like the combination of like the Eon or like the Judgment card with the Death, or with the Death card, or like the Tower with the Death card, that is big changes coming. And especially I feel with Pluto and Scorpio, that's really deep, something that's changed, like life changing, and life changing could be like when I switched to a vegan diet. That was life changing. Now I had to think about how to cook. I had to cook more, because I find a lot of, when I was going out, like a lot of restaurants didn't quite cater to, at least where I was living at the time. And it could be something like that, or but I feel like it's, well, you see how the Queen of Disc is looking out at this field. She's got a lot that she's working with here, and that's not going to grow. It's not going to become this lush Amazon jungle, whatever she's growing. Whatever she's growing, it's going to take some time to cultivate this field. Even with the Princess of Disc, you can't rush a baby. You got to be patient with the baby. That baby needs at least 9 months in there, and sometimes, even speaking while we're on the subject of children, sometimes children come early. It may not be as soon as you would have thought, or but it's sooner than it may not be. You know what I mean, Cancer, and I feel that sometimes in that being patient, that can bring up a lot of things. Where I could feel where. And even Scorpio can bring up a lot of deep emotions where we may have been doing this work, been trying to do all this stuff here, and then it's like, maybe we're trying to, what have been the results? Why am I not seeing anything? Maybe focusing on the fact that, maybe focusing on one thing, but not seeing a grander scheme of things. And this Prince of Swords here, the Prince of Swords, usually, he always gives me this idea of making sure to stay focused on the journey. Yes, he wants to rush. He's a fast moving prince. He's the air. He's the prince. He's in this deck. The princes represent air. Swords represent air. He's the airiest part of air. He's got all air in his chart. But even sometimes even just thinking about with the wind and fire, for example, those more kind of faster moving energies, it's nice when the wind is going at a breeze, so it's like, have you ever been on those days, Cancer, where it's just perfect. I remember just here recently, I was just walking, and I remember passing under this tree, and the way the wind blew, it caught the scent of this flower, and it curled in my nose in a way. It was an experience. But that's how sometimes when we don't rush these things, some beautiful stuff can happen. We start to feel the nuances of the changes. We can start really appreciating the journey, as opposed to just always wanting to get to the finish line. Because I like that the Eon is here, but the Judgment card isn't. Or excuse me, that it is the Judgment card. That the World card isn't here. The last card in the Major Arcana train. And I feel like it's keeping eyes on that prize with the Prince of Swords, but knowing that you don't have to force it, with Pisces, trusting in this divine timing and this guidance, and knowing that you'll know when to take action and when to pull back, when to ease up a little bit. So, all right, that Cancer, I think I'm gonna leave that there. So, if anything resonated with you, Cancer, if you like that, give it a thumbs up. And share this thing, Cancer, because, patience, where it is a virtue, it's annoying. And Cancer, I'm kidding. It's one of those things that, because I'm even thinking with where my lunar returns at right now. We're in a lot of stellium energy where the planets are really concentrated right now, and I have a lot of planets. They're all packed. All the planets right now for me are packed in the first house. I have like the Sun, Mercury, Chiron, Jupiter, and Uranus. They're all packed in the first house. And so I've been wanting to get it moving, but also Mercury retrogrades conjunct the Sun like almost to the minute. So it's like, oh, okay, patience. It's like, otherwise you're going to be doing things a number of times. Things are not going to get flowing. It's just not going to go your way. Your routine is changing. So, it's something where when we work with our energies, you know, sometimes where it's been kind of a bit slow for me, partner, their energy is moving. Things are put, and they don't even feel like it's fast enough. That's been the this has been the tone here, the mantra around here. So believe me, Cancer, I get it with the patience, but it all is worth it in the end. And to subscribe there, you hanged man, hit that bell, or hanged person. No, that's getting weird. Hey, whatever. Knight of Wands, hit that bell button, and we're just gonna pass by that, Cancer. Get notified when I release videos each week. If that didn't just. Last thing, Cancer. If you want to know about, if you get tired of this word salad over here, you can get another dose. You can maybe get a different dose of word salad. I keep the salad bars separate, but you can. It's now this analogy is getting weird. Go over to my other channel, Alchemist 8. I do videos talking about the celestial weather. I promise I'm not nearly as well, we do the best we can, Cancer. All that housekeeping is down in the description box below, but let me get you a surprise card here, Cancer, so I can get you out of here. You got the Nine of Wands, Cancer. And I like this, Cancer, because patience takes strength. But the Nine of Wands, I'm picturing, there's in one of the decks that I work with, I think it's the Light Seers deck, there's this Nine of Wands, the figure in there is like, she's like anticipating something. There's something about her, like she's like, oh yeah, my time's coming. This is when things are about to blow up. This is gonna be it. And there's something, you know, I've been kind of fascinated by Sagittarius energy in general, but more so the moon in Sagittarius and like people who have this placement. I know one that I find almost like he really took his message from higher self literally. Neil Armstrong, like, and I know there's a whole thing behind that too, but journeying to the moon, and it's very interesting, Cancer. This I feel that energy is like, in Jupiter's here. Keep that faith, Cancer. I feel patience is going to pay off in the long run here, Cancer. Oh, and I like this, Cancer. So you got the Frog Spirit here, which is a card to clear out the clutter. And you know, I feel when the mind starts going wild, Cancer, in things, you know, you get kind of excited and whatnot. Like, this can be a time where you just need to, you do some things to kind of help maybe relieve or alleviate some of that excess energy. This could be where, and this is not medical advice, but working with some herbs, for example, if you find like you're needing something to kind of calm you down or kind of calm you down a little bit, chamomile is by far, it does it all. Like, it's ubiquitous. You can get it in any store. Make it a strong cup, Cancer. Like, you know, it's one thing if you let it sit for a few minutes. Let it sit like 5-10 minutes. Let it get like nice and strong, and if it's a little bitter, add a little honey to it. But that's a great one if you find yourself just kind of in, you know, just like dealing with a lot of emotional clutter. And this is another one too, and I think I talked about this yesterday. St. John's wort is bay. It works with like the guts. It's one where if you're taking pharmaceuticals, I would say definitely check with your doctor with that. You know, I'm at this place where it's like, I feel like that herbology in modern you know, medicine can work together. You know, I feel like we can't be where we dismiss our roots literally, you know, and disconnect from the earth. You know, there's a balance. You know, the medicine is inspired by the plants and what the plants do. So, you know, but all that to say, Cancer, if you do find yourself with a lot of clutter, maybe even actual clutter, maybe in all of this stuff, you know, you've been keeping, however this may be manifesting, there's something a bit here just needing to make some space for maybe something to come here, Cancer. Maybe that could be why, if we feel the abundance is coming, it's just like, where are we holding on to some old things? I've actually been just sort of like getting rid of some old clothes that I've been holding on to, and in that showed me where it's like, wow, I need a whole new wardrobe. And it's like, you know what? And I deserve a new wardrobe. And so that whole mindset has changed for me. And so just something I feel like to kind of think about there, Cancer. But I think I'm going to leave that there. So stay mindful there, Cancer. Keep your awareness about you. Stay intuitive. Keep Trust your intuition, Cancer. Always keep eyes on the moon. Feel that energy, that lunar energy that's coming through the Cancer. Let it raise your vibration to the roof. Enjoy your weekend, and I will catch you, Cancer, on the next one, Moon Day.